Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing on this fine Thursday morning? I've got to turn off my AC compressor. Hold on. I forgot to turn it off before I started, so guess I better do that. So I hope you all are having a great Thursday morning so far. I have been up since about midnight, so the last 8 hours. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I hope that I got everything prepared enough to do some showing and modding stuff today. I do have a new tub of distilled water and manganese sulfate ready. I do have a new anode or cathode, whichever one goes in the liquid. I made out of titanium. I took one of my titanium sheets that I bought and bent it to where I can put it in there, so I was going to try that this time. I do have my ferric chloride handy. I also have my tumbler ready. Yes, Pete. All the Yankee knives are on the desk. During the night, I carried my Benchmade, my Osborne. I love this thing. That's what I carried during the night. And I just did a video a little while ago on all 6 of these boys. And yes, the 3 does look like the saber tooth. And the whatever the other one is, it looks just like that. Oh, there's the saber-tooth and the Wolverine. So they're in order, Pete. That's the 1, that's the 2, that's the 3, that's the 4, that's the 5, and that's the 6. They are all very nice knives. The only one that is M390 is this one, the 4th one. These 2 are L-Max. These 2, oh no, 2 of them are M390. Number 1 and number 4. These 2 are S90V. And these 2 are L-Max. Good morning, Mr. John. How are you? Hope you're doing well this morning. Looks like we're starting off kind of slow this morning, so I'll give a little bit of time for people to trickle in. I think Mr. was looking forward to doing some of the washes. Sorry. Yeah, I might do a flipper tab delete on number 5 because it's my favorite. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, the 5 is my favorite. So I might do a flipper tab delete on it and make the choil a little bigger where my finger would go into it perfect. It already does, but I love the thumb ramp on it. I love the blade shape. It's kind of my style. I like this one too, though. This one has a hollow grind. This one has a flat grind. This one has a hollow grind and a flat grind. Both. This one is a hollow grind. This one is a hollow grind and a flat grind. And wow, about cut myself. And that's a flat grind. Good morning, Michael. Welcome to the stream, sir. I got me some zones set up to do some close-ups, and then I set a zone around those so I can move my camera around pretty quickly. Whenever I want to do a close-up, I've got some camera zones. So yeah, I can now put these up since I've done the video. And oh, nice, John. Yeah, I was just talking about wanting to do that. Yeah, I guess you heard me. Duh. I'll be excited to see how you do with the Flipper Delete. I think you'll get it perfect. So I did receive 2 knives yesterday. I got the YG002 from our buddy Tube Surfer. Pete, we'll see how. Did you get your little thumb stud yesterday? Or is your mail taking longer? Because he sent them both the same day. I like the front flipper on this one. It's got good jimping. So I do have my little bag for them. So I'm going to put them in here in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 will go behind the mesh so it won't touch and scratch. So I don't think anything will poke through that one enough to go through the mesh. But I think I'm good. Good morning, TC. So I got my whole bag of ride designs. I did make a thumbnail of that picture, so I do have that good picture of all of them. Morning, Mr. Whalen. So I thought long and hard for about 5 minutes during the night about which knife we would do the treatment to today. And I came up with an easy pick. Came back to work this morning. Came back to work this morning and had the Tucson TS-145 and Max Ace Black Mirror waiting on me. I almost bought a black mirror the other day for cheap. I didn't realize they were so cheap, actually, even new. What is the TS-145? Before I show y'all which knife I'm going to do the treatment to today, let's look at the Tucson TS-145. I've got the 144. Night mooring design. Oh, Pete, look, it's your blade shape. That's a cool looking one. Does it only come in the green color? What kind of blade steel is it? D2? on this one. Let's see what else we got. Looks like it might only come in that green-brown color. TC got one of the... Oh, that's not the knife I thought it was, TC. Nice knife, though. Yeah, I've never seen that one either, I don't believe. TC's showing out on us today. Oh, that is the knife I was... Yeah, I got the 144. Oh, $40, an awesome deal. Yeah, that is the knife. I wasn't paying attention that the Herman is the pin. When did you grab one of those knives, TC? Did you grab it at Blade Show? How do you like it? Are you using it manual or auto? I got lots of questions. Are you going to dye it black? Yeah, I knew it was the new Work Sharp. I thought it was. That's why I said, are you using it auto or manual? Did you take the spring out? How do you like it? Is it super light like everybody says? What do you think about the magnesium? You're going black with it, Michael? Once you go black, you never go back. Yeah, I think it'll look good black. That's an awesome deal. $40. I guess I better add that one to my knife swap list. Oh, by the way, I went ahead and did something that makes sense, which I don't know why I didn't do it earlier, but since I want people to join the Discord and I could care less about my Instagram, I went ahead and moved the Discord link to the first link so it shows up here at the top. So anybody that goes to my YouTube page will see the Discord link instead of seeing my Instagram link. So that makes sense. I should have done that long ago. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So it made a lot of sense to do this knife for lots of reasons. Starting with, it's $19.99. It's fairly clean because it's brand new, so I won't have to do much cleaning on it. I don't mind having to re-blast it and start over and do something else to it. So yeah, I decided I would pick the little $19.99 world's best value titanium knife to do all the treatment on today. So we're going to acid wash the blade and stone wash the blade. And then we're going to blacken the scales and stone wash them. The clip, I might see if I can do some torch coloration on the steel clip and see what that looks like. I've never used the torch to color steel with heat. I know you can. Good morning, Paul. So yeah, I guess we will start by disassembling this thing because I need to get the blade and the scales and all that out. Let me change to view number 2 so be a little closer here. Actually, I could probably go into view number 3, which is really close. Alright, so T8 first. Uh-oh, I thought we had Loctite. I was like, well, Picked the wrong knife. Put that out of the way. Move over to T6. Clip screw was fairly loose. I wish I had a bunch of WD-40 because I could try to heat up this metal clip and see if WD-40 does anything to it like it does titanium. Which knife you were talking about, how thick the titanium is, TC? You're not talking about the work sharp, are you? Because that's not titanium. You're talking about this knife? Oh, did you buy one from Amazon, or do you have the $39.99 version from HX Outdoors? Did they send you one, HX Outdoors people? Wow. The pivot is tight on this scale. You got the Amazon? That's awesome. So the liner just fell out. That's something new. I've never seen a liner not attached anywhere. It was just over the two barrel. It was laying against the two barrels on the side of this scale. So that's kind of weird. There we go. Oh, look what else is weird. It's got square washers. Look, it's even got little square pockets for them. So that's weird. Okay, so the liner does fit inside there, but it's not attached. That's one way to do it. Good morning, JD. Mr. Paul, we're going to do a bunch of washing. We're going to do acid washing. We're going to acid wash the blade, make it dark. Then we're going to stone wash the blade to give it a texture. Man, this doesn't want to come off this pivot either. Wow, this is a weird setup here. Okay. There we go. What a weird little things. I've never seen these square washers. Morning, folks. So we got the blade out. We got the bearings out. The square washers are going to be out. All right. Where's my magnet? Magnet won't even pull it out of that pocket. It's pretty tight, milled in there. Let's see what else I got here handy. How about an axe? Can we get it out with the axe? Don't really want to use a blade tip. I'll end up breaking it. Man, that thing is in there. Alright. What next do we try? Do we try this little cheap tip on this carefully? Man, it's really in there. Yep, I'm gonna stab myself. So I'll put that up. I guess my only other choice will be to use a little tiny screwdriver. If I can find one. What did I do with that kit that I said I would put up? Because I don't ever... Oh, there it is. Axe for little people. Oh, alright. Let's try one of these little bits. So, where's the tiniest little flathead that comes in this kit? This isn't the tiniest one, but this is a tiny one. Super little tiny flathead. So let's see if I can get beside it here and or underneath it here. Didn't realize these washers would be square and like pushed in. Can't get to it from the other side. Dang. What a pain in the butt. It's like it's almost milled the exact same size as this hole. What do you think I should try here, guys? Some heat? Heat expands, so that wouldn't... But they would expand at different rates. The titanium and the metal would probably expand at different rates. But good grief. Cannot believe I cannot get under there anywhere or grab it anywhere. Wow. That's a pain in the butt. There we go. T6 did it. So I'm going to remember that one went in the show side. Alright. Back to what I was doing. Alright. One last piece and we should be disassembled here. Alright. We've got all our pieces. Let me put this little bit back up. Let me go back to full screen mode. See, I got all the parts laying out up there. This one is the one that goes on the show side if I forget. And I got it facing down the way it goes in the scale. Alright. So we got our scales, we got our blade. I've got my ferric chloride right here. It always sits right there. I am going to clean this thoroughly. I don't really want to go and do that in the sink, so let me knock over my light, which I just about did. Well, dang it. Why do I have to mess with stuff? Hold on. I'm making a catastrophe over here. Alright. Light is back in place. Hey, not starting off as a good morning. Alright, to clean or not to clean? I need to clean it really well, but I've got alcohol here. See if I can get this lid off. Whenever I let it sit for a month or two at a time, it gets like a pickle. It gets like the jar your girl hands you to open. Oh my God. Now I got something else I can't open. Wow. There we go. Finally got it. Be a man. Put some bass in your voice. All right. Let me see. I'm going to knife. Hold on just a second. All right. Here we go. Y'all watch this for a minute while I go wash this knife. This guy made a knife throwing sentry turret
to build a machine to throw the knives for me because I'm just so darn good at building robots. But making a knife throwing doohickey is not as simple as giving a knife to Mr. Roboto and letting it go buck wild. That would be
so I'm going to let y'all watch some of this for just a second while I go wash this blade off. I'm actually going to wash everything off really good.
Making a robot
I'll be right
that
back.
throws knives isn't shrimple at all, and this past month has made me seriously question what length of school bus I should be riding in.
I hate you.
Now before I show you how I got to this point, allow me to go over the goals for the robot real quick. Okay, my first goal is to survive making this video. My second goal is for the robot to throw lots of knives, as seen here in my best paint work to date. It should also have an onboard live feed camera and be able to remotely control my sphincter. But before I could design anything, I had to start with this. The dullest knife in the world. Now there are many different ways to throw a knife, such as a half spin, a full spin into a half spin.
No way.
But let's be honest here, there is a 0% chance I am smart enough to figure out how to make a robot rotate a knife in flight for it to land point first into a target. So instead I'll be using a technique called flat throwing, where you begin with a pelvic thrust, stopping on your right foot and making sure not to forget it. Then you have to bring the knife around town, and if you let go at the right time, you'll be astounded that that actually worked. To see if this technique would even work on a robot that's incapable of thrusting its pelvis, I ooga-booga'd a piece of wood to my drill and hung a knife off one end, but the whole thing was a little unbalanced, which made it kinda sketchy, so I simply balanced it with another knife. This surprisingly worked quite well. We'll work on a better knife release later, but for now I want to replace the drill motor with a motor, sans the drill, that I can control electricitally with an intelligent conglomerate of sand to spin up the throwing arm. Thus far I've been using dweens as robot brains for all of my projects on this channel, but today I'm stepping into the 21st century and learning how to use an ESP32. Now imagine the ESP32 as a cracked out Arduino Uno on Ozempic and you'll have a pretty good idea of its capabilities. It can yap with Wi-Fi and has blue teeth from the factory and can even turn on an LED.
Oh, let's go!
But the real reason I'm using this little firecracker is for the Camgirl version, which allows me to host a web server and live stream a camera feed which I can access on a browser. Now I can charge $10 a month for live stream access to pay for my BBL. All of that's pretty insane for something the size of my pinky if my pinky was slightly bigger. The next step was to interface the 30 deuce with my motor, but I can't directly connect the two together because the wires are too short. Instead, I'll have to use this motor driver that's chambered in a standard NATO round as the middleman between the two. I then struggled to get the motor to spin for an hour until I changed a 1 to a 2, and now it works perfectly. Boy, do I love coding. After carefully transporting the electronics to a bigger table and 3D printing some test knives because the metal ones could accidentally poke something important, I had the motor work the shaft in such a way that excited the wood up to a couple Benji's worth of RPMs.
Okay.
Nothing broke until the instant I stopped filming when the shaft coupling lost its load. But that's okay, because this wood piece is an abomination and I need to replace it with something more robotic looking, such as this beautifully maintained piece of aluminum. Now believe it or not, I choose not to, I don't have a mill, so I can't machine an aluminum part. And after calling around at the local job shops to get my robot arm made, it wasn't looking good.
$700? What do you think I'm made out of gold?
No, Midas Touched Me is just my email address. That is until I was paid to randomly stumble upon this website called JLC CNC, which specializes in quickly making custom CNC parts for cheap, and just so happens to be today's sponsor.
I don't know what y'all are watching.
This is what JLC CNC looks like
the
through
video
a
that popped
binocular.
up,
To show you how easy it
y'all
is
are probably
to order your own
interested in it
custom
now.
CNC parts from them, I'll be attempting to order my
Don't wanna
robot
go
arm
back to
across
me.
the room and upside down before I pass out.
Where is the mouse?
JLC CNC is your trusted CNC
What do y'all
machine
think of,
partner, whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah.
The video
Offer
so
quick,
far. Do we need to
affordable,
skip ahead and
high-precision
see what he
custom
ends up
parts for
making?
Engineers, action, term. Fast is 71 that aluminum loses to rock, which makes you appreciate the raw power of paper that much more. But aluminum does beat wood in this case, just not my wood. Wait a minute. Welding can
Those are stepper motors.
Loading the. I did a good job of hiding it here, but I was actually pretty excited that it worked. And now that we're all caught up, I began the arm installation process by carefully mounting the arm coupler to the shaft and then attempting
Alright, I'm
to
sure
mount
y'all
my
want to see
finger
him
to the
finish
coupler.
this thing, maybe. Y'all interested in
I
it?
then coupled the arm to the coupler of arms and then put the whole thing on the motor. Next, I installed the knife holder assembly onto the throwing arm even after I dropped my nut and you refused to help me look for it, which I did not appreciate.
Where'd it go? Can you see it? Point it out for me.
Finally, everything was ready for a spin test to see if the motor could even move all of this proverbial junk in the trunk. It was kind of janky, and it looked like some biblically accurate plane propeller, so I cranked up the speed to see if it would smooth out and hopefully hold together.
Okay.
Everything was working on the...
Alright, mount the wires.
There was an invention for what it's called. Inside better be made of actual gold because I
Those
put
are like
work.
rotors
To help
on- remember
answer
on
that, I've got
bicycles
two
where
pieces
you
of
had
wire
to-
and a bearing. If you loop the
where
first
you could
wire
spin
through the
the
bearing and connect it to
bars
itself,
and have the
then
brakes
take
still
the
hooked
second
up,
wire and
you've
throw
gotta
it
use one of
away,
those.
you'll understand I have no idea how these metal knives and replacing them with their plastic counterparts, I was certain that some knives were about to be thrown.
Okay, now release.
Now release.
Yes! Yes! It worked!
Hold on to that happiness, bud, because but the robot required to get them to release
see.
at a specific point so I can actually hit targets. To do this, the robot requires omniscience of the speed of the arm, the position of the motor, and servo actuation time. The speed of the arm is pretty simple to find, and I'll just measure the rotations per second and inform the robot so it can adjust accordingly. These motors are actually stepper motors which know its position by counting the steps, and if you listen closely, you can hear each step as it rotates. Step. And by tickling these motor driver switches just the right way, I set up the motor to do about 350 steps per revolution, which is a lot harder than you may think. Finally, we arrive at servo actuation time, and then immediately
Yeah, it does look hazardous,
for the
but
robot to do this. Now, as cool as that looked, it was pure luck. I ran the exact same test again in Mow Slow, and this time the robot power slammed the knives into the concrete. I decided to blame arm slippage for this war crime against the knife people, so I began to make a better test setup by installing everything on this conveniently branded box. It looked a lot cooler now, but the arm was going to hit the non-turning table, so I mounted a yes-turning table to the bottom and then put it all on a little test stand. And since it already swivels, I might as well install a motor into the test stand and then put it up.
Now
It was
you can aim
kind
it.
of wobbly though, so I printed bad player. The final piece to this awful puzzle was this awesome hat, but these holes ain't here just for looks, they're for looking. The round hole is for the ESP32 camera, like smallest pair of... I then
Nice.
parked correctly. And after checking that
Stereo
the LiDAR
vision.
sensor was detecting the right range, it was finally time to take the robot for a spin.
The LiDAR.
Now I just needed to throw the knives at the target. That should be really easy, right? Welcome to the next 87 hours of my life. I don't have any snow cones, sorry. At first it was just being a greedy little freak and wouldn't let go of the knives. Then I whispered sweet nothings into its processor and it let go of a single one in the wrong direction. Next it got angry, threw some knives, and just stopped spinning. This thing has one nasty attitude, but I was determined to beat my fingies into the keyboard for as long as it took to get this thing working. I tried and tried and even tried again, but for the life of me, it would not throw the knives where they should go, and I was starting to lose my cool.
It's going the wrong way. I hate you.
Little
Oh,
box.
I feel your pain, buddy.
Now that was promising, but I'm pretty sure the knife tip isn't supposed to look like that. So at this time,
Dang it.
But from there on out, it looked like a 1.0 GPA student's report card. It was fail after fail after fail, a small lecture.
Look, this is how you do it. See, boom. That's all you need to do. That is literally all you need to do.
Addressing down, and then right back to failing again. I tried everything until finally... Now, it may not look very impressive, but I have been stuck in me instead. I did get the knives to stick a few more times, and even got this cool double stick. But the robot was super unreliable, and I tried every in-flight path. I pressed inherent drastically different up to make a test.
See if he gets it. Oh, blood.
This war crime against the knife people.
This is why I don't...
Part 2. All right, we'll have to go revisit that again. All right, so back to what we were doing. We got to get this blade soaking. So that's the thing we need to do first, and then we will anodize or blacken the scales and get them stonewashing while the blade is finishing. So I washed everything really good with soap and water. I have got my ferric chloride here. I don't mix my ferric chloride with water at all. It is just straight ferric chloride. I do not dilute it. We are going to try to get a pretty dark oh man, you know what, I'm not gonna mask off the pivot on this one either, but let me just suggest that you do that. Well, I mean, I guess I should. Then we gotta wait for fingernail polish to dry. Oh, Nick just asked that same question. I guess I will, since I should. We ain't got nothing but time, I guess. Let me grab my fingernail polish, or try to find some. I got some right over here somewhere. I had some that worked better than other. It was thicker. That's what she said. I don't know which one of these was the best one, but I guess we can try them both. I've got a couple. I got 3. I don't know. I've also got some shaman knife scales I started to make out of some kind of weird micarta. G10. I started trying to shape in this bucket, along with some pieces of black micarta that I haven't used. So I don't know where those came from. I mean, I do know where they came from, but I haven't seen them in a while. I do need to do that, Nick, because of tolerances. I mean, some knives you could get away with not doing it. Depends on, how loose the knife was. Now I'm not going to be able to get this open, probably, or something like that. Let's see how thick this looks. That looks okay. Some of it looks super thin and doesn't work well. And it's a pretty sparkly color. Alright, I'm going to do it very liberally. I mean, not very liberally. I'm just going to do the bare minimum that I have to do here. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more around the bearing. Alright. Now I got to figure out how to pick that up without getting it greasy. So I will attempt to pick it up. Dang it! I'm going to knock over the fingernail polish. I just know it. There we go. Get my fingernail polish back over here. I'm not very familiar with fingernail polish, so you'll have to forgive me. I know some of you guys may be nowadays, but don't forget to get inside where the pivot goes. You don't want to build up. That's the main spot that matters, really, I guess, is where the pivot touches the inside of the blade. Alright. It's probably enough. That's probably good. I've got a fan beside me over here, so I'm going to hold it up to the fan for a couple minutes. Let's yeah, the lock bar face, I'm not going to worry about. It'll only just keep the lock bar face. If it's a liner lock, it just means it won't go over and engage as much, and I can always sand that off if I need to. I can get to that area pretty easily, and I can use the Dremel if I need to take that off, or a piece of sandpaper or something. I don't want to have to wait for all this to dry, honestly. Let me see if he did a part 2 to that video. And while this is drying for a second, I will nope, it only came out 1 day ago. Thank you, Michael. Got it from my girl. I said, give me some old stuff you don't wear. And so she did. Well, what this is, it's got some Mega Last. I don't know how old this stuff is. Probably pretty old. As long as it works, it works. Some purple. Could have used that. It's kind of a purple color. Oh, my daughter's doing great. Thanks for asking, Nick. What, we could be looking at something. What do y'all, give me a knife to look at while I'm holding this up to dry. What news out? What's coming out? What's going on with the knives? Let's see. What does Blade HQ got coming out this? We'll go look at new releases till y'all give me something, or coming soons. New Magpul. Finally, the Edgerati is coming out. SOG Escape FL frame lock for $26.95. Huh. $27 frame lock. Probably not that bad. Kaiser Buddy fixed blade. Fat carbon purple haze. You hear that, TC? Is that the same model you got? I don't remember. Kaiser Norcross fixed blade. That's a weird looking one. Is that one of their X series? Let's see what the number is. Is it ZX? Yeah. So that's one of their new. If it starts with a ZX model number, that's one of their new. I think one of their new high dollar series. Because I don't like patterns, Pete. You haven't learned that? I don't like carbon fiber or patterns. I like plain. KB Knives Protocol. Yes, sir, Fred. I'm on it. KB Knives Protocol. DLC. Let's see the plain one. Oh, that one looks pretty cool. Do they have it at White Mountain Knives yet for a actually reasonable price? Let's go see. Nope, not there yet. So oh, you got the prototype at Blade Show? That's awesome. Alright, I think this is pretty close to being dry. What does your prototype look like? Is it the plain one? Who's the designer on it? Oh, Panarin. He came into the chat one day and thanked me for reviewing another one of his knives. He had a Tucson that he designed that I reviewed. I think it's that one that me and Pete both got in K110 or something. Or whatever that blade was. It K110, Pete? TS 156 or something? I don't remember. Well, that's no good. He's following me, and I need to follow back. I thought I already followed him, but yeah, what was this model number? TS 576. I said 156. So that was the one I reviewed, and I put his name. I've started to add people's names to the title if I can find the designer. So I released 3 unboxings last night, and one of them was, so the Naga was designed by Vostede, somebody in-house, but this is a Marco Pinella design, and this was a Damned Designs design. So I'm starting to put the title of the designer in the unboxing. And what Pete's talking about is these other colors.
Welcome to another fun-filled knife adventure.
Right.
Hooray!
Right here. So they have the tan and the blue. So they have these. They have the 2 patterns at the top there. Well, yeah. I liked the blue one more than I liked the orange one or whatever. It's kind of red, but it looks a lot of real orange. But it does look kind of like it reminds me of like Santa Fe. Red Raindrop, yeah. I don't know that it's red, it's just Raindrop, but I think it's more orange Raindrop. Alright, this has got to be dry now. My arm's getting tired. Alright, so we got the blade done now. It's got to be dry. I'm going to get a little wire over here so that I don't lose it when I put it down in there. And I'm just gonna put it in. Hopefully I didn't get any oils on it. we're just going to drop it in, and I'm going to start a timer on my phone for 10 minutes. Timer, 10 minutes. Start. All right, so while that's going, off here to the side, we will get started on the blacking. So I took and I got a new, whatever it is, cathode or anode out of titanium. I bent one of those sheets that I've got and put it down in there and curled it around the edge. Y'all have been suggesting that I try titanium, so I thought I would. So I've got both the scales here. I've done nothing but wash them with Dawn to get all the oils off. And now I'm going to wipe them down with alcohol one good time. I've got my power supply. So last time we did like a gray at 20 volts and we did a black at 50 volts. And this time I'm going to do a 77 volt black and see what we get. So I just wiped that one off with alcohol. Touch it on the edges. Got that one wiped off. Regular tap water will leave some stuff. Distilled water won't, but I didn't drop them in distilled water after I washed them. I wrapped them in a paper towel after the tap water was on it. And I just wiped that one off with alcohol. Yeah, Pete, I don't think the distribution is going to change whether you have a single wire or this big plate. I think all the water is going to be charged regardless. But we'll see. I mean, it couldn't hurt for sure. But I think he... Yeah, the plate, I mean, being larger couldn't hurt for sure. Yeah, the metal tubs, like the cafeteria tubs people use, are pretty wild. All right, so, and which one is it, the cathode or the anode? Do we know which one the negative side is? All right, so I'm going to put the negative back here on this one. Got that on there. I've got my manganese sulfate added to here. And I stirred it up really good. It's got a weird color to it this time. I think, honestly, I think those black specks that we got last time that I'm hoping I don't get this time are because we're using this high yield it's actually it's for plants. So I think there would probably be a more pure form to get that doesn't have because yeah, there's a monohydrate and then there's other ones, but I think the black specks might be because this is a plant based instead of like a pure, because just like you can use baking soda, you can also buy pure sodium bicarbonate that is like lab grade. So I'm thinking if we get black chunks again this time, I'm going to switch my manganese sulfate to something else, to some better manufacturer or some chemical manufacturer. So I'm always cautious with oils. I've got my little bar here that I'm going to hang both the scales on, and I'm just going to make sure that I wipe it off with alcohol too. I just try to eliminate any kind of variables every time. So I'm just wiping off where that's going to contact the liquid and the knives, the scales, with some alcohol. Then I'm going to carefully touch the edge of this and slide it off till I can get that in one side. There we go. Carefully touch the edge of this one till I can do the same thing with this one. Alright, so now I have them both hanging on my little titanium wire. And I've got my positive over here that I'm about to attach to said titanium wire. Make sure I get a good connection going. I'm actually going to put it across the back so that, well, can't get as good of a connection, so. Alright. Yeah, I don't like that connection. Hold on. Alright. Now I'm satisfied. Now I've got my red on my little bar. That's what happens if you touch the anode or cathode. Sorry. Didn't mean to scare y'all or myself. But sparks make you jump. So that was a good test. That was a good learning experience there. I'm glad y'all got to see that. That was funny. I'm not used to this giant big plate, so got to pay more. That just teaches me to pay better attention to that. And where it touched the scale, I don't know if it made a mark, but we will check that out when I'm done. All right, so I did make sure that when I bend it, that it curls like back towards the plastic there, so that it's not out here in the middle. So we shouldn't have any problems as long as I stay on this side of the container. But that's what would happen if you had a big container and you weren't really paying attention at all, and touched the side of one of those big metal containers. So that's why I don't use one of those. So here we go, 77 volts at 2 amps, and we're going in. I don't see any black chunks yet. We're up to 34 volts, 35 volts. I don't know. I'm just going to let them sit there for a second. You can see them turning black. You can see the bubbles. We're only up to 39 volts. The thing that's weird to me about this one, this time, is I've got some light. My amperage is staying directly at 2.0 amps. And my wattage is climbing according to the volts. It's got some light on it that says CC, and I don't know if that was a safety thing when I shorted it out and that light popped on, or if setting it to 2.0 amps instead of where I had it at 3 amps is doing some kind of thing. But we're up to 43 volts. Let me see if I can show y'all what I'm talking about on my phone here. We got 1 minute left on the 10 minutes dip. So let me see here. My IV cam is working. Hold on just a second. IV cam. All right. Let me turn it vertical. Portrait. Dang it. Come on, camera, act right. So this is what I'm talking about. My power supply, let me turn on my phone. My power supply has got that red light that says CC, and the amps is staying at 2 amps. Normally it drops. And the voltage, I set it at, whoops, let me dismiss my alarm, 10-minute alarm. The voltage I set it at was 77 volts, but it's taking its time to creep up there. And anything over about 50 volts is going to be pretty black. But I think I might just let it sit here and do its thing, because it is continuing to go up. As you can see it climbing. Yes, Mitchell, we're doing black anno, and then we're going to stonewash it. I need to check the blade in the ferric chloride. Get my coffee out of the way here. We do have some chunks down in there that I don't like. Good morning, Ed. Let me see what kind of color we got. Once I wash that off, that's not going to be dark enough for me. So I'm going to set another 10-minute timer. We're going to do a 20-minute ferric chloride, straight ferric chloride. I don't know how much longer I'm going to let this sit in here, because it is black. We're at 52 volts. It's just steadily creeping up. It's still doing its thing. You can see the bubbles coming off the plate pretty heavily. I just don't like those black chunks. But it is what it is. Let me go back really quick. To see what else is coming soon. While we wait on this process a little longer. It won't take but 5 minutes to stonewash stuff. Boker Plus, what is this one? Wow, that pattern almost looks like a face, like some kind of animal with that blue eyeball. That's a pricey Boker. I didn't know they were going to be coming out with ones that pricey. Magna Cut. Coming soon. Yeah, Boker's been hitting it pretty heavy here lately. We're up to 56 volts. I think we'll stop somewhere around 60. I was going to set it at 60. There's the Lefty Strixes. Wow. 925 for the... Yeah, you can darken a blade with coffee and mustard, Mitchell. We'll look at that real quick while we're waiting on this. So you can leave some cool patterns with coffee and mustard, but it's got to be carbon steel blades for that to work. Coffee also. If it's stainless steel, it won't do it, I don't believe. Coffee may do a little something, but mustard, patina. So you can take a
Well,
knife
it's been
like
a while
this.
since I've done one of these videos, but I'm going to show you guys how I go from this to this using just mustard. So this is called a mustard patina, and so often when I tell people that see this finished product that I use mustard, I get this blank stare until I show them a video of me dabbing mustard onto it. So this is how it's done. As you'd guess, a mustard patina is quite literally just taking mustard, dabbing it on, and then waiting for it to patina. One of the things I did not realize when I initially got into this is it's not actually the area under the mustard that patinas. It's actually the perimeter of it, the outside, where the acidic mustard meets the air and causes that patina to form. It's not as random as what a lot of people think either, at least the way I do it. You know, you can look up mustard patinas and see a bunch of different examples of it. Preferably, I like to go for a super dense, high layer mustard patina, as you saw in that finished product. So each one of these clips is what it looks like after each layer. So as you'll see, as I continue to do this, it gets denser and denser and starts forming that look I like. And that is honestly very time consuming. It's not just dabbing on mustard all willy-nilly, not paying attention to where you put it. I very meticulously place this to get the densest, darkest pattern as possible, which you can see right there gives it an extremely unique look. There's the finished product right there. So let me know what you think, if you're a fan of mustard patinas or not. Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, check out mustard patina, and then you can also do it with coffee.
Just a short video to talk about how coffee can actually be used to season and protect a high carbon knife by giving it a patina from the acid in the coffee.
Yeah, it's got to be a carbon,
Normally,
high carbon.
leaving your blade wet or with acidic things is not advisable, but if you just make sure that it doesn't get too rusty at all, it develops this kind of blue, sometimes greenish tinge, kind of like oil in water or gasoline on the pavement.
All right,
in the
we're
summer.
at 60,
And
almost
it helps
61
prevent
volts
rust
now.
from happening. So there you go. One more thing you can do with coffee if you happen to also have.
That's not a good example.
Horse
Here's a good
patinas, round
example.
2. Let's go. If you didn't watch yesterday's mustard patina, go do that quick because we're going to touch on that later. This is my second time trying this. The first time I tried to brew some strong coffee and it wasn't enough. So this time I'm going to put an ungodly amount of what can hardly be considered coffee in the first place into my French press. Add some warm water and give it a stir to fully dissolve everything. Next we'll pop our knife in and top it up with water to submerge the whole blade. After about 3 hours, this is what it looks like. And be advised, open some windows because my studio smells absolutely horrible from this. After a quick rinse and wipe down and airing out my apartment, this is the patina we're left with. It's super consistent, dark, and stable. However, if we flip the knife over to the side that had some existing patina from the mustard, it's interesting to find that as opposed to darkening the patina, that the existing patina rejected further patina from forming. This raises the question of why a naturally occurring patina from normal use continues to grow over time, whereas a forced patina seems to resist further oxidization. If you guys have any insight onto why that might be, let us know in the comments.
So there you go. A couple of quick videos showing you that. All right, now we're back. My timer is at 3 minutes till we got 20-minute dip in there. I'm going to pull this out and cut off. We're at 62 volts. And we got a very rich black color. I'm going to go ahead and drop this into some distilled water to rinse it off. And then I'm going to drop it in another thing of distilled water. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just rinsing it off in one cup, and then I'm going to drop it over in the other one to leave it for a second. All right. Now let me get my stuff unattached here and wrapped up. My little titanium wire back in its place so I don't lose it. All right, so we've got black titanium now, very black. Let me get this out of the way now. All right, we're making some room now. Let me get this cup out of the way, and let me get down in here and pull these out without spilling water, hopefully. Let me get a paper towel first. All right. Yeah, I'm not scared to learn stuff or to mess up on video. Wow, it looks good. Looks very even too, and very shiny. The water is helping it make. Yeah, people don't want to share that black anode trick. It was very hard until I really dug into it. We're going to do some of that thick layer with the acids eventually. Now this distilled water shouldn't leave water spots, but as you can see here, they look very, very consistent. They still haven't dried completely, so, but they look very nice. You can still see where I've marked it. All right, my alarm should be going off just any second now, probably. If 3 minutes has passed by, which I think yep, 20 seconds. My internal clock was pretty good. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did. Actually, I'll tell y'all what. Y'all are going to have to bear with me for a second because I'm going to walk to the bathroom and wash this off really quick. I'm going to take this jar and I'm going to pull these out and wash them off very quickly after I pull it out of the solution. So I'll be right back. Y'all hold on just a second. Alright, I'm going to have to take the camera in there and show y'all this sometime about washing off the ferric chloride, because when you just run water over it, it doesn't do a thing. You have to physically touch it. And so when you touch it with your finger, your fingers get all black because it rubs off a layer. And I use a little sponge in there to wipe it down with. But this is what a 20-minute dark wash or acid wash looks like on a blade. It's very black. If you're talking about these are black. Let me adjust this light. The color, the natural color to the light leans towards the yellow a little more. So that's kind of the color that I see. I hope that color is coming across. But it's not a gray, it's a black. When I go to the white side of the spectrum of light, it changes the color like that. And when I go, yeah, gloves be the best choice. And when I go to all yellow, it kind of looks like that. And that's more of the true to life colors. I didn't have any gloves when I went in there. They're in here. And but it will leave little black stuff on your fingers where you touch it. And it's probably not good for you, ferric chloride, of course. But I was washing it off with water, and I'll be all right. Probably causes cancer, but so does cigarettes. So now we're gonna go take, and I'm gonna leave this on here, and we're gonna go put this in the vibratory tumbler. I'm gonna take my phone with me and show y'all what we're working with here. Let me turn my phone, let me get my camera going again. All right, IV cam, connect. All right, phone. Y'all can see where I'm at. Let me see, back out a little bit. All right, that looks good. Now give me just a second. I'm gonna walk in here to the vibratory tumbler and drop the blade in. I'm gonna do them separately. Wait, let me turn the microphone on my phone also, so y'all will be able to hear me. Give me just a second. Whoops, wrong button. Standing up using a mouse on your leg doesn't work the greatest. All right, now you're on my phone microphone. I'll grab the blade again. And I'll show you all what we got going on with the vibratory tumbler. So, right here, I've got my vibratory tumbler. And it has got the stuff that you buy from Harbor Freight, the little triangles in there. I've got a little WD-40 in there, and I've got a little water in there. And I'm just going to drop the blade in. I'm going to put the lid on. If you make this little, so there's a mod to these tumblers where you can put a bolt up here. When you put the lid on it, it wants to make a lot more noise. So you can put a bolt, two nuts locked right here. And then when you put the lid on, it keeps the lid from actually touching the base here. There's a little gap under here now. And that keeps it from making such a loud noise. You have to buy those two little nuts that fit on there, though. There's a hack on the internet. If you watch vibratory tumbler videos, a guy does a hack to show this. But let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So even when I tighten this all the way down, this lid is not sitting right on top of that. So it keeps it. And I'm just going to turn it on. And we're just going to let it go for 5 minutes. All right, so we're just going to set a timer for 5 minutes. We're just going to let it go. Let me switch the microphone back. All right, let me turn off my phone. All right. So, we'll let that go for 5 minutes and see what it looks like, and then we'll do the same with the scales. I could have done them all together, but I thought we'd just take the time to do them separately. I didn't set a timer though, so let me do that. I'll go to 4 minutes now. All right, so we'll go back to yeah, they make rotary tumblers and vibratory tumblers, and they both work well. Let's go back and look one more time at coming soon. $355 for the micro milled one. I believe it was $335 for the pre-order, maybe. I like the looks of that one. Titanium colored aluminum. That's different. That looks good. Kind of blade steel. M390. That's a cool looking knife. Yeah, I have to check that one out. It's a big Hermet RTB. Yeah, I like the B. That's another one I've got to get right there. Yeah, I like the looks of that one. I don't even mind the holes so bad. That's got M390 also. Dual edge. I don't have a picture of it yet. Liner lock, black micarta. I don't have a picture of that. Viper Knives Alpha. Fox Knives Tops. See what our timer's at here. 1 minute and 13 seconds. Modding channel. Nice. Great capture, Pete. Thank you. Check out that. That's what I do here for y'all, is I learn and I mess up and I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I'm actually happy about it because now it made me realize I need to pay better attention to that. And I guarantee you will not see that happen again on stream. But yeah, that's a great shot. Thanks, Pete. I'll have to make that the cover, the thumbnail. That's how little I care about showing my failures on video. I'll make it the thumbnail. All right, alarm just went off. Let me go grab that blade out of there and see how we look after 5 minutes. Definitely be careful when digging the blade out of there. Just kind of leisurely poke around at it. So this is what we got after 5 minutes of vibratory tumbling. We got a couple of big marks. That camera sucks at that zoomed in, so let me go back to where I was and get it to focus better here. And once I clean it off, it'll look better. But now we got a nice aggressive stone wash. You could just do a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I've got some bigger pieces of rock in there too, like rock, but you can see that. Since I'm done with that, I'm going to get some alcohol and clean everything off really quick. And it will look a lot better once I do that. So, alcohol, oh, fingernail polish remover. That's in the bathroom. I'm gonna go drop these in the tumbler. I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes again. I'll be right back. Sorry, but y'all gotta, I could take you with me, but too much trouble. Alright guys, sorry, it takes a little bit to get the fingernail polish out of all the little grooves. In fact, I didn't get it all out. I thought I would show y'all the rest of the process here, but getting it out of the detent ball hole can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So a lot of times what I do is I'll take, I've got this little metal poker thing. It's like a metal toothpick. No, this isn't it. This is actually a little tiny flathead. And I thought this was my little toothpick, and I just like use it to try to work the fingernail polish down into that little hole. There we go. Got it right out. So you can see the place I covered for the track is fine. The place for the bearings is fine. I've still got a little bit more fingernail polish on the sides of that, but that'll be fine. Alright, so I got that done. And now I will clean it off with alcohol. Yeah, you can use toothpicks too. I'm not paying, I can't see the chat at the moment, but just a little bit of alcohol. Wipe this down one good time. You see we're getting a little black off the blade still. And alcohol will pull ferric chloride off a little bit. Alright, well, that's good. Our timer should be, we're 30 seconds away from the scales being done. But now you can see that pattern looks pretty good. It might be more aggressive than some people like, so you'd only do it a couple minutes in that vibratory tumbler. It looks fine to me. The more you get it like that, the less you care about what it looks like when you use it. Alright, I'm gonna go grab the scales. And just so y'all know, this is the actual first time I've ever done, it's only like the second or third time I've done blackening of titanium, so this is the actual first time I've done any kind of stonewash, but you can see that was way too aggressive. And I thought I would show that because you live and you learn. But I don't know if I should have put them in there one at a time, or if one of them hit the other one, but you can see it did way more than I thought. It's the first time I've ever done it, so you live and you learn. I've got the bead blast cabinet, so I can bead blast it and do it over and only leave it in there for 30 seconds or a minute. But I'm used to steel, and I guess titanium, since it's way less hard, it gets roughed off very easily. But that's what we're here for. We're trying to learn. Good morning, Trouble Bunny. Welcome. Do each again for 2 minutes individually. Yeah, I don't like how much it knocked off. I want to see what it looks like when I wipe it off with alcohol. That's kind of wild looking, huh? Yeah, I don't know. You live and you learn. Like I said, this is actually first time I've ever used my vibratory tumbler and black anode. It definitely doesn't look it definitely doesn't look silver still. Like even where it's light, it's still dark. You think I should put them back in for a couple minutes? Pete? Or you think I should clean them off real good and dunk them back in and see what darkening the parts that lightened up would look like? I think that might be a cool experiment. See what happens if I go back into black. Yeah, I wonder what it would look like if I did a color ano over top of this. I don't know, Pete. I have no idea. But I've got my thing right here. Wouldn't take but a second to find out. I've got my color set up right here, ready. Which one you want to try? Put black back over it? I think I want to try black because I'm not familiar with black as much as I am color. So I probably need to etch it though. And if I etch it, then it'll take some of the color off. That's the problem about doing ano after you've done ano. You got to re-etch it. I do have multi-etch, so I could use that. But let's see. Let's see what going back in after I clean them off really good with alcohol. Go back in for a few minutes, see what happens. I can always blast them, so I'm cool with experimenting. Power supply's back on. Lay this red out of the way here. Let me clean them both off really good with alcohol. I probably need to etch it, but I didn't etch them earlier. So let's just see what happens. That's what we're here trying to learn, right? And I'm not really going to worry about the insides because, like I said, I got the bead blast cabinet that I can re-blast them. Alright, so I cleaned them off really good with alcohol. I've got them hanging off the edge here so I can pick them up with my little hook. Grab this one first, and grab this one. Alright, got them back on there. As you see, we're still at 77 volts. We're not going to touch the metal. We're going back in. It's doing exactly what it showed last time. It's showing the 2 amps. Oh, we're getting all those black chunks, remember? That's what we got last time. And it did some kind of rust color last time too. Like, it did something weird last time when I went back in for a second dunk. That's kind of why I wanted to see what it would do this time. And heck, we can just go bead blast it and do it again. But I've actually got some stuff to do today. I think the blade looks good. Probably should have gone 2 or 3 minutes so y'all wouldn't, but I like it like this. But y'all would like it better. He said do the fireworks again. No thanks. We're already up to 66 volts, which is weird, and we've already dropped to 1.5 amps. So whatever we're doing, it's not taking nearly as long. And I'll show you again on my camera here, just so you can see how quick it's dropping this time. But you can see the power supply is not sitting at 2 amps. It doesn't have that red. That red light had to be the short circuit protection, because now we have a green CV, which I guess that means constant voltage or continual voltage, or I don't know. But that's what it normally does when you do a color anno, is the amps just keep dropping, the voltage keeps going up, and you want the amps to drop all, you want the watts to drop all the way to 0, and then you know you're done. Trouble Bunny, every Thursday we try to do something to learn something, or I have a guest on that does a certain thing that Mike can teach us something. But yeah, every Thursday we try to do a tutorial Thursday. I try to. Yeah, I'm getting a laser on Saturday, so hopefully we'll do some cool laser engraving soon, and all of that. Trouble Bunny. All right, we're up to 68 volts. Let me get my 2 cups of water here again. My black one and my white one. The black one's the first dip. I keep them different colors so I know which one is kind of clean and which one isn't. But I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to go dip them, rinse them off in the black one, and then let them sit in the white one for a second. Turn off my power supply. I'll have to change both of these waters because of the black chunks of stuff, but let me let that sit in there for a second. Get this out of the way again. All right. My black cup out of the way. And then get a paper towel so I don't get the table all wet. And then pull them out. Put them on a paper towel. Get my titanium wire out of the way. Get rid of the cup. All right, let's see what we got now. Let's see what that did. I have no idea what it did. Doesn't seem to be wiping off whatever it did. It almost I don't know that it did much of anything. Like, it didn't do much of anything to that one. And that's with the etching thing. I think it made the black blacker, but where it wasn't black, it didn't change that. But this one, look at that. That's pretty wild. Now, why did one of them almost go back to before I stonewashed it? Why did that one go back, but that one didn't? That's totally weird. That's why you need more experiments. Because I have no idea why that answer happened. I'm thinking, now that I think about it, there might be a reason, except no. I thought my wire might have been a shorter distance to one of them than the other, but I made sure that I kept the distance. I doubled it over everywhere, so the wires are the same length to both of them. Yeah, they were both hanging from the metal. I want to put this one back in just by itself again. Just to test. They were hanging, they weren't touching the bottom, so they had to be touching the metal, but good thought though. And it could be that there's a coating on the titanium. Maybe the titanium got blackened. Well, it would have gotten blackened right here. And maybe blackened titanium doesn't allow it to transfer current the same. So I might need to etch my wire to clean those off. I do have a single wire. We could try that. Let's hop this thing back up on the table. Wipe it back down with alcohol again. Let's use a single wire. It's all one wire. The clamp was on. That's what I was just talking about. I made sure when I made this thing, so the wires doubled up all the way. So it's the same distance from right here. It's all the same wire. It's one piece of wire, so it's all connected. So that wouldn't have been it. But it could have been where it was anode black here or something. I need to etch this wire. We're going to try with this single piece of wire here. Let me clean off this one scale that didn't re-blacken with some alcohol. Good. I've actually got to end this up soon because I've got to go run an errand today, but now I got a single piece of titanium wire, that one scale, power supply going back on, red wire here. We're going back in. The sparks scare me, but it always sparks a little bit when it's touching the scales. You can see down in there where it's sparking when it touches. Yeah, I try to watch the spark and try to like hold it where it doesn't spark, but it's gonna spark. You can hear it sparking too, which is kind of funny. If I move it, I know it maintains contact good. I'm not really moving it for any other reason than just make sure the wires continue to touch, because you can see it sparking at different places. We got up to about 68 volts last time. We're almost at 68 again. Let me get my water here. Yeah, we're at 68 volts now. So let me do my little rinse. Something with the wire, I didn't ever think about the fact that it's going to blacken the wire. But I think that did the same thing that time. So it had to be a connection issue. I might need to etch my little hanger thing before I do it, because it gets coated with black. So that's something I learned. I never thought about etching that wire, because with color it doesn't seem to matter much. It does change color, but it just builds up on there and doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't take long once you got the voltage climbing like that. And when you got it doing one at a time, it was definitely a connection issue. Because you can see it's way different than before. I mean, it's still got, that one was aggressively stonewashed, but it is way better than it was. That's water. Yeah, I forgot which one is called the cathode and which one is the anode, but the metal plate within the liquid is the, I believe that's the cathode. Let's go look, because I want to be able to say that right every time I say it. Which is anode and which is cathode when anodizing? Wow, my whole system crashed. Wow, my whole system crashed. OBS crashed. I had to reconnect to the live stream and everything. But I was right. The cathode is the rod or plate that is in the conductive material, and the anode is the part that you're dipping in there. But it's pretty cool that I was able to reconnect that easy. I am back on, right? Give me a 5x5 if I'm back. Something faulted out and OBS crashed. Thank you, Waylon. All right, so that was a good experiment today, guys. We got to see what that would do. Now I'm going to reassemble the knife and then sharpen it, but not on stream. I've got to go run an errand. We're getting really close to the 2-hour mark. Get all the water out. All right, I'm gonna grab my oil. All right, show side was this one. A little oil. This goes in here just like this. Well, I say that, but might go like this. Yeah. Wow, I just put way too much oil on there. All right. Show side. I don't remember. Do y'all remember when I took this knife apart, which side the pivot was through? Was it through the show side? It's black. It's blackish in person. It's not a gray. It's real dark. It's 20-minute soak. I'll take a picture and post it in the Discord, mister. Does anybody remember, though? I guess I can go back and look really quick. So the pivot was coming from the show side. All right, I got it. I did want to put these back on the show side before I reassemble. Ain't really got to worry about scratching the scales when you do a stone wash, huh? So that's cool. Always turn it backwards till you feel it drop in place. All right, pivot was in this side. There is a, it is a D-shaped pivot, so there's something that lines up with it. I think it's that that other side of the, yeah, so there's a corner cutout, which is pretty cool. So these little square washers, they have a locating tab. So one of the corners is cut off, and you have to line that up with the corner that's cut off in the scale. And that gives you, that puts the D-shaped pivot in the right place. So that's totally weird, something I haven't seen before. I'm trying to make sure I got it the right way. All right, I did get that one on the right way. So that makes the D-shaped pivot at the bottom, actually at the top, sorry. So I'm going to turn that towards the top. I'm going to put my bearing in. I always like my bearings backwards with most people, but it's just a preference thing. All right, blade in. Stop pin in. Come on, stop pin. Should have put it in before I put the blade in, but wow. The tolerances on this knife are something to be appreciated. A little bit of oil. Paper towel. A little bit of that. All right, now this just laid on here, which was weird. Laid on there, so that means it lays on. Let me get this lined up. Wow, that D-shape pivot, where you at? Aha. Yeah, that D-shape is weird on this little. These washers having the D-shaped part, it's kind of odd. It's kind of annoying, to tell you the truth. All right, where's the D? That's what she said. All right, it's over there. Come on, go on there. It was super. Yeah, this is an annoying knife to put back together. Wow. All right, there we go. Finally got it to pop back into place. But am I ever going to get the scales to line up with the right place? So let me look at the corner, which corner it's got to go on. Wow. I think it's hard to see which corner. I think we should be okay. So this lays in like this. So it goes like this on these two. It just lays on these two. It just lays right there. It's totally weird. What a weird assembly on this thing. All right, let me get these two screws in. Get something being held together here with the. Get that liner lock back in place. Now which one? It was the back one. All right. Yeah, that liner lock with those. All right. Now let me get the pivot. back in. Tighten that back up with the oil on it. Blade is centered good. We're almost back together. Give me just a second. Wipe this oil off. I'm actually going to oil up the whole thing. And I got to take that screw back out, but I just wanted to get it in there to get everything held together for a second. All right, let that one in, last screw going in. Actually, that screw doesn't feel like it's going into anything. What's it supposed to go into? The scale? Is the long one? I think the long one might need to go in that place. I don't think it's reaching the scale. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Or maybe both the long ones go in here and the short one goes in the other part of the scale there. But let me see if this one works back here. Nope, that one's not gripping, so it's got to go right here, evidently. Should have paid attention with the little screw where it goes, but I think it goes right here, and then the two long ones go through the clip. But I could have sworn when I took out, let's see if the short one grabs here. Yes. Okay, so that's what I did wrong. Both of these long ones go into the clip. I do believe. Sorry this is taking me so long to get back together, but there we go. Now it threaded into the scale. The threads on the scale must be like towards the inside of the scale, so that shorter screw wouldn't reach in there and grab it. Alright, everything's tight. Pivot's tight. Centering's perfect. Look is totally different than it was. Wipe off all the oils. Get my tools out of the way. I'm actually going to I'm going to put a little oil on the blade just to make it go ahead and change that color that I know it's going to change. Once your fingers get on it and stuff, grab a little paper towel. Wipe that oil on. Kind of spread it around. I didn't get enough oil on there, but that should be enough. And there we go. Before and after. Stop eating mustard. Yeah, it'll make patterns on your throat. Action still feels great on this thing. Now I just need to sharpen it. A little bit of oil coming out of the pivot there. Totally different knife than we started the video with, that's for sure. put it here. Do my little... Oh, that app crashed too, I guess, when I had the issue with the system. That Discord picture is super cool, Pete. Thank you again for that. If y'all didn't see that, I'll bring it up one more time. It's when my anode touched the cathode. And it didn't like it. Yeah, you use manganese sulfate for the black anode. The link you put, yeah, that's the stuff I've got. Exact same. Oh, well, thank you, Pete. You're one of our everyday contributors, so I'm glad you liked it. I can't get my zoom on my camera. My camera app crashed whenever my let me see if I can do a task manager and kill that app and restart it. Hold on just a second. Hope we don't lose camera. We didn't lose camera, so let me see if it works when I relaunch it now. Well, yes, it worked. So I can click this and get a close-up of what the knife looks like. I know that's not the clearest, but that's pretty representative of the color that everything is. Here's a true black G10 handle. So that gives you a reference to how dark everything is. And like here's a black clip off of whatever belt, the Kaiser thing. So you can tell it's pretty dark. It's pretty close. So it's definitely not a gray. It's definitely a dark, good dark. All right, guys. Once again, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Oh, one more knife I received yesterday. So a while back, I got rid of my Eclipse. I sent it over to Sever 7 in a trade we did. So I worked out a deal and I got this one again, which was brand new for $45. It's got that weird shaped blade that a lot of people don't like. But man, it's perfect shape, perfect condition. And the action on it, as you saw, it just guillotine. And the lockup is so solid, but like it just closes. So that's a cool model of that one. I grabbed for $45 to replace the one I sent Sever 7. And then we started off the video with the picture of the 6 Yankee knives. So go watch that video if you didn't. If y'all don't mind on the way out giving me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do so. I put the link at the very top of my YouTube page, so it's real easy to get to now. All you got to do is go to my YouTube channel, and the link is right there. You don't even have to click on the one more link part. You just click straight on the Discord. You don't have to have an invite code. You don't have to download the app. You can do it right from the browser. So, I'd like more people to hop in the Discord. If you need me, you know how to find me. Let's see. My email, of course, is down there at the bottom. Why is my picture moved? Why is there blue over there? Why is all this happening? I don't know. Something happened when I crashed. You can still see my mat even though my camera's not on, so that's weird. Anyway, guys, love y'all, appreciate y'all. See y'all again tomorrow. Oh yeah, the guy responded. He's gonna come on next Thursday. The G10 and Mike Harda guy and his dad. They're gonna hop on and or he's going to hop on next Thursday. There we go. I knew something was going on. When OBS crashed, I guess all my backgrounds moved to the side. Yeah, happy 4th of July tomorrow, guys. If you need me, definitely email me. Let's see. You like that one better, Pete? Alright guys, y'all have a great rest of your Thursdays, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.